With us is head coach Dave Burkholder of the hockey team, a staple of the show here on Purple Eagles Weekly. But let's talk about the weekend. A win over Robert Morris on Friday, a win on Saturday, and the day off on Sunday had to feel pretty good.
That was great. Just, we didn't want to have to play that extra game. The college hockey players aren't used to doing 3 in a row, so to get it done 2 in a row was a big feat for our guys. There's not a lot of sweeps in college hockey, even in the regular season. So. But you know what? We played well both nights. A lot of things are clicking for us right now. We're on a pretty good roll, and it was nice to have Sunday off, and we kind of sat back and watched the computer to see who was going to advance to Rochester with us.
And you were the only team that had Sunday night off, because inside the rest of the 2 out of 3 series, every other series won 3 games. So, potentially a little bit of an advantage. Your guys might be a little bit more rested. Every other team had to go 3 games.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. We'll see if it's a factor Friday night. Obviously we're playing RIT, who's, even though it's a neutral site, it's downtown Rochester, and we're expecting obviously a big RIT contingent, and it's playoff time. But you know what? I think if it's close down the stretch, I think that extra game should favor us.
Well, let's talk about this past series. You got wins over Robert Morris. Chris Noonan was great for a shutout on Friday, and then on Saturday another strong performance from him. He's been, your rock back there, and named goaltender of the week as well, leading into the 2 wins. So, what did you see in his game? Does he look as ready as ever for this Final Four?
I really do. I think the weekend off, getting that bye really helped him mentally, if anything. And he had 49 shots over 2 games. But goaltending, it's not how many, it's when. And there were times, even in Game 1, when we had a 1-0 lead, where he made game savers. Where, if Robert Morris scores, I think the momentum change would have been drastic. And he probably did that 3 or 4 times on Friday night. And Saturday, he was really strong. A couple of times we were under duress, he got us whistles. His game management, he's playing like a senior, and that's what you hope for.
And one of your younger players, Isaac Cole's Rookie of the Week. After his performance, he scored in each one of the games. For Cole's, how big was it to see what he did?
Well, he's had a terrific year. He's a little bit snake-bitten on the scoreboard, if you will, but he's been one of our better players this second semester. And, he's a guy that, and you've said it all year, he can go coast to coast at will. And he's found some chemistry. We have him on our, I guess, production-wise, we would call him our top line with Patrick Diviak, who's a sophomore, and junior captain Giancarlo Iorio. But Isaac Cole is fast. He's shifty. He's got an NHL shot. So I think that line obviously has been a key for us, and Isaac's a big part of that, even though he's only a freshman.
I think one of the things with Cole's, and you see this with some of the players that come up through the program, he's got the work ethic of a 4th liner, and it seems like there's the skill of a potential top liner there. I mean, you're already saying he's on the production line, but you see a lot of skill and the work ethic from him, and you see a lot from young guys with your program. It is right there.
Yeah, obviously that's a credit to Tim Madsen, my recruiting coordinator, who does a great job, and he's on the road. Finding these guys. But yeah, he's a gritty guy. He's a gritty kid. He could play anywhere in the WCHA, and I mean that. He's a Minnesota kid that we were fortunate enough to convince him to come to Niagara, come east. And as a freshman, what he's done, I think, bodes well for his future at the Division I level.
Well, overall as a team, you give up 1 goal on the weekend to the Colonials in the 2-game series. Defensively, you're one of the top teams in the country, and Noonan's save percentage represents that, but also team defense seems to be a hallmark of your program, and what you have this year might be one of the best years you put together.
Yeah, our D-corps back there has been sensational all year, and obviously Chris is a big factor, and these guys enjoy playing in front of Chris. But, if you look at our roster on defense, we went from a young D-corps to all of a, we have 3 juniors and 2 sophomores that are playing well, and Kevin Ryan and Matt Williams. So sprinkled in a couple freshmen. They're all back next year too, which is a very positive sign for our program. But hey, defense wins championship. I know that's a cliche, but we're certainly thinking that, loading the bus going to Rochester.
And I know when you look at your defense, you talk about the overall group. You don't just like their play on their own end. A lot of those guys can push it a lot. Matt Williams scored a goal. C.J. Chartrain obviously leads a lot of rushes and is very involved offensively. How much do you anticipate turning that up against RIT in the semifinal?
Well, we have to be very careful against RIT. They're a very fast team, and they're good in transition. They try to get you on the rush. But, that being said, I'm not going to curtail C.J. Chartrand. He's very special when he's got the puck. He's got a green light to rush it whenever he wants. But, you know what? We need to take care of it. And, if there's not a play, say, by the far blue line, we need to dump and then get after it on our forecheck. So, and that can be said for all our guys. They're pretty creative. When they have the puck, in the proper situation, in the proper areas on the ice, they have the green light, and they know that. And when we don't have it, I trust them to get back on defense.
Well, knock on wood, you've never lost to RIT. So it's your opponent coming in here for the semifinal game. No losses at any point while you've been the coach. What's been the secret, I guess. I mean, you know RIT fairly well, so what has it been?
You know what? No one wants to talk about it, but I say the more you talk about it, it takes the hex off. But
if we've already talked about it, then we can't jinx it.
No, not at all. I agree. I tell everyone. So I don't know what it is. It's just one of those things where we have their number. Obviously, we get up when we play them. I mean, they've been RIT and Air Force have been the class of Atlantic hockey, and we're new to the league, so we want to leave our mark. Even though it's only our second year, but it's just one of those things where maybe we've gotten a little bit of puck luck and they haven't, but we're hoping to keep that going.
And as you look about RIT and the matchup this time around, it's going to be in downtown Rochester, as you say. How do you feel about your group's ability to handle that? Because it might, sometimes you go into a road game, you expect it. Other times you go into a game, you think, I wonder what the crowd's going to be like. It could be overwhelming. They could really pack the building at Blue Cross and bring in 8,000, 9,000. We don't know exactly what it'll be.
Right.
How do you anticipate your team handles that?
Well, this is exactly the reason, and this is exactly what we've prepared for all year. Playing at Cornell, playing at Yost Arena, the University of Michigan is one of the most intimidating buildings in the college hockey game. We played at Mariucci Arena against the University of Minnesota when they were #1 in the country, 10,000, 11,000 fans sold out. So those are the experience that we're going to have to lean on, and so hopefully it'd be like, wow, this is fun, embrace it, and hopefully we get our best hockey.
Well, you've got RIT. The other semifinal has Air Force and Mercyhurst. Just a quick preview of that matchup. What kind of styles are they?
Well, Air Force is run and gun, no pun intended. Top Gun, isn't that?
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
No, they're really good. They have probably 6 forwards. They're really deep up front. They have a good kind of a goaltending controversy. They have 2 really good goalies. They'll have to pick one. And Mercyhurst is very young, but boy, their power play is exceptional, and they got a senior goalie that's playing really well at the right time.
And you've been very close with all these teams. The games against Robert Morris have been close. You came out on top. RIT have been close games. Air Force have been close games this year. So it's anybody's tournament. You're the #2 seed, and top 4 made it through. So if form holds, we'll be playing on Saturday.
That would be great. Sign me up for that.
All right. Dave Burkholder, head coach of the hockey team.